We're gonna take a break.
Five?
Yeah, only 5 minutes.
Only?
Only
But
five. Oh, that's
I,
too much time.
that's too much time.
That's what.
5 minutes to build
So
it,
the,
eh?
all right. So
I got listen.
the challenge on,
I
guys.
would I would bet you five of my fiance rock
Oh,
hits.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock.
okay, I mind you with that.
Listen, this is John Roett.
And this is Scott Weatherhead.
You are watching Behind the Rhythm. Boom!
Hey guys, my name is Randy Eastmond, music producer, musician, and music educator from the beautiful island of Barbados. Welcome to my channel, and you are watching Behind the Rhythm. So, you may be asking, what is this all about? Well, on this show, you get a chance to meet the producers from Barbados and the Caribbean responsible for creating the music that you love. We take a look into their creative space and thought processes. We break down and unpack the elements of the music produced by our guests over the years. They share their tricks, techniques, and approaches in the world of music production. So, if you are new to creating music, or you just want to see how these guys approach it, then you are in the right place. If you want to stay up to date with the new videos coming in this series and to check out our new content, just hit the subscribe button below and turn on the notifications. If you like what we're doing, hit the like button as well. Okay, let's get started and meet today's guest. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Rhythm. Wow, today is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be special, and it holds a special place in my heart because the gentleman that we're going to interview today has been tremendously influential in my life. And it's going to be a really good experience what we're going to share. I think some serious knowledge is going to be dropped today, so musicians, young producers, look out for this episode. His musical journey is one that it speaks volumes to the landscape of music in Barbados. He is a musician, keyboard player, a songwriter, and most recently an author. All right, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to bring him on screen. Master John Roett, where are you at, my brother?
I'm right here, Randy. I ain't going nowhere. What's going on, man?
Welcome to the program, my brother. Thank you so much for joining us on
It's
Behind
so
the
good
Rhythm.
for you to ask me, man. I've been watching the show since you started, and I am blown away by it. It's the greatest thing I think that has come out for a while.
Well, thank you so much. I really
Really
appreciate
nice.
that. And I see you have some company with you, Master Scott Weatherhead. Good,
Yep.
good. How are you, my brother?
I'm well. I'm well now. Thank you. My
It's
mic is working.
truly an honor to have both of you guys here. And I usually would ask, how have you've been holding up in this COVID time, given the restrictions, given how music has been affected, and I think musicians have been severely affected by the whole
Very much. Yeah.
COVID-19 lockdown, etc. So how have you been holding up in this time?
I got stranded in Antigua when it first started with 5 months, and I got engaged out there.
Well,
And
congrats.
yeah,
So
hey, yeah,
that's a
true. That
yeah,
kind of work out.
yeah,
COVID work. COVID work.
yeah.
Um, I've the only gig that I've had really was New Year's Eve, and then I've been working on my book, on my autobiography. So I use that downtime. I mean, COVID taught me that, not that I didn't know, but it really brought home that we could all live with a lot less than we think we need. And it's introduced a lot of really good things as far as like online stuff is going, as far as entertainment goes, and the whole scene is changing. So I'm keeping an eye on it. But out of all bad comes good
It's true.
eventually.
Very true. Very true. And for some persons out there, I think the majority of Barbados knows who you are, but there are some young musicians, young producers in the game. Can you list like just a couple of those major songs that you'd have worked with, and probably a couple of your major achievements in life thus far, musically?
Well, being that I working on the book, I've played with virtually like nearly every Caribbean musician. I played with the Merrymen, Jota the Fair. I was musical director for Maxi Priest on a world tour. I played with Spice and Company, Party Monarch Band. I've played with the Festival Band as a session player. I've played with Joining Wife, Second Image. Played with David Rudder. My memory is not what it used to be, but
That
it's been a quite interesting journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, really.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So, young musicians, young producers out there listening, trust me, this session is going to be so educational. So, I hope you're tuned in. I hope that you keep it locked and loaded to Behind the Rhythm. John, I'm going to throw something on you that you were not even expecting, man.
What was
Right?
that?
I want you to tell me 5 unknown facts that people watching this program may not know about you.
Lord, um, I was a computer programmer.
That's one,
Qualified in, yeah, one.
right?
Um, as a musician, people think I ignorant. I went to school at Harrison College.
That's two.
I, I two. I've been practicing transcendental meditation and qigong, tai chi kind of stuff for 30 something years.
Whoa, that's three.
I, Lord, man, another one. I wanted to be a professional footballer.
Really?
Seriously, yeah, man,
Wow.
for real.
That's four.
Yeah, and you got me here hard. I teeth 6 rock cakes from my fiance this morning.
That's four. That's fine.
It's true though.
It's true. I love
You know
that.
when she finds out you're in
No,
trouble.
I know when she find. Well, I can tell you that she can't watch this. Rock cakes full of heart too.
I love that. I love that. All right, so John,
Yeah, man.
behind the rhythm, man.
Yeah, bro.
As I said, it's an honor to have you here today, and I just want you to tell us what song are we breaking down today? What song are we unpacking? We're gonna go behind the rhythm. One of your productions, one of your products, so to speak, from
Well,
your
I'd looked
discography.
like if I had the access to the other files, I would have looked at one that I had done for Aubrey Cummins years ago, and what those files, everything was analog in that time.
Right.
So I decided to break out, and I asked Scott about this because it is a really complex production overall. The song for the country's 50th anniversary, Legends to Legacy.
That's a major song. So could you tell us how that song came to being in terms of your thought process? You know, I think you wrote the song, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
But
so
there was a song contest, and apparently 21 people entered, but the prize money, like nobody like in the actual pro range was going to go into it, which is not a bad reflection. I thought it would be really good if a young person came through and with it, but they didn't. I heard that they were considering along the lines of a Banks Bear ad that I wrote years ago. Barbados will always be home.
right.
So I sent them an email and went, well, if you all want to use it, I can change it up and stuff. And they got back to me 3 weeks later, and we had a meeting, and then they said that they actually wanted a full song.
Right.
And I was expecting that they wanted maybe a raga or, but they said they wanted a ballad in an anthem kind of form. And the Prime Minister's, his choice of words was that could be an alternate national anthem.
Well,
So I was like, all right, I will take it on. I tried working on it here for a while, and then I didn't get the vibe. Like if I was in it too much, I wanted to see it from outside. I actually flew to Canada and rented an apartment for Airbnb in March. It was snowing and it was real cold, and I didn't even know when I got there the apartment had a piano in it, which was kind of like
that's organic. Yeah.
yeah. So I started writing it up there. Yeah, and the whole project took I think about 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks.
You know, you mentioned something there. You said you wanted to be in a space outside of the realm of Barbados, and these are things that happen, or things that other people may take for granted. You know, and I want you to talk about that. You know, why did you want to do that as a songwriter and have that perspective for the
Because
particular song?
I was when we're inside something, even inside ourselves, and people tell us something, they're seeing it from the outside. It's hard for you to see a situation when you're in it, what it looks like from the outside. And I had tried about maybe 2 weeks here writing it, and I went, I wasn't getting just was not getting any kind of vibe. And I went, maybe I am in it too close. Let me
Right.
look at it from an outside perspective. So when you're out there and it's snowing and it's like dry ice and it's really, really cold,
Well,
it tended to help me reflect on the island a little bit differently, how much I cared about my country and that kind of stuff. I think I got that vibe when I was out there going, like, I can understand why people come here, and I take, maybe a lot of people take what we have for granted.
For granted.
And it kind of like put that imagery in my head, because whenever I write music, I have images in my head at the same time.
well,
So seeing it through the eyes
the eyes. Yeah.
of somebody from outside, it kind of put the perspective that I needed to actually start writing it. And I sat down at the piano one day and I just closed my eyes and I gave my hands permission to play whatever they want to play. There was nothing in my head, and I just went blam, and it was like came straight through, and I was like, okay, well, thanks.
Well,
Kind
see,
of a,
this
kind
this
of
is
a
what
magical thing.
this is what behind the rhythm is all about. So that people understand the thought process. We get into your musical mind, get into your imagination and the process that you take to create. So I want to thank you for sharing that with us.
No,
I believe some songwriter out there is gonna get some different perspective or want to try something like that, and then you never know, you might have another great song like this. You know, even
Music
listen,
comes easier. Music always comes easier. Like
yeah,
when I had the actual lyrics, the only line that came when I played the song the first time on the piano was the opening line. United as a nation, blessed from above.
well,
That was the only line that came. Then I sat down and then I kind of thought of things that you remember when Bajans say certain things. So like I remembered, like we always call here the rock. So there's
yeah,
a line with Adrian Clark and stuff like it says our rock in the ocean. And I remembered a line that Bajans say God is a Bajan, and that gave birth to the line guarded by angels, heaven on earth. So
well,
it's like things that you remember. I remember the 1937 riots, and that also brought a line. I think it was the line about a road has been whatever it was for us all to be free.
You,
right,
A
you,
road has been built, right? So
you,
all those people that paid those Jews, Errol Barra, Tom Adams, so like images give birth to the lyrics of the song, but
right.
the music is that always comes first
Comes first.
to me. Yeah.
So Scott was saying, Scott, you had it.
I was saying, he said you remembered the 1937
No,
riots.
I,
But
d- I
I
wasn't there.
did.
No,
I'm wondering.
I remember reading about the 1937 riots and hearing about
Were,
it
were you there, John? Were you there?
from friends. No.
I always like to tease him about his age.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people would think, well, you was there, right?
Yeah.
Nah, nah.
Well, I honestly have to say that when I first heard the song, the initial impression, just when the music started, I was like, whoa, I'm blown away. I mean, how the thematic progression of the song, both musically and lyrically, the cohesion was amazing, and I want to give you kudos for that.
I appreciate
That's
that.
this is what Behind the Rhythm is all about. So I know you had a lot of musicians involved, you had a lot of artists involved, so collaboration was a part of this song as well, and
Yeah, it
that's part
was
of our
91 musicians and
whoa,
singers
whoa.
in all. And then I think about maybe 11 or 12 admin to like coordinate with cameras
coordinate
and stuff.
everything.
Yeah, Selwyn
It
and
was a
Vicky.
serious production.
Yeah, it was 100 and I think it was 123 people in all involved to
Right.
coordinate. So
And it was recorded at Pavilion
the Quan
Studios.
Pavilion,
Master Scott Weatherhead
and Elisius Joseph.
and
Yeah,
Elisius.
and
Kudos to
then
those guys as
I
well.
remixed and mastered in Canada with Eric Ratz, who is a Juno Award engineer,
Right.
which is the Canadian equivalent of a Grammy. I think he won about 3.
Whoa.
He actually did Threads of Scarlet album as well. Really,
Oh yeah,
really cool
yeah. You
guy.
would have produced her as a Scarlet album
Yeah.
as well. But you got me excited here, John. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna let you get prepared so that we can get behind the rhythm, and we're gonna move to the segment called Unpacking the Beat. So guys, stay tuned to Behind the Rhythm. We'll be back. Welcome back to Behind the Rhythm, guys. This is the segment called Unpacking the Beat, and we have Master John Roett. This is such a pleasure for me. You don't even know. I have had the honor of playing with this gentleman for so many years with the Soca Monarch Band, the Boogie Nights Band. I've had a stint with them as well, and also playing in Jegna. John, you don't even know what this episode means to me. This is monumental, honestly.
Me too. I
Honestly.
really appreciate what you're doing. I think what you're doing is the bomb, bro. True.
Thank you, bro.
It's true.
I really
Quite.
appreciate that. So
But before we even start, I just looked at my calendar. You know what today is, right? Today is the 10th of April.
10th of April, yeah.
So if I was to tell you that this song was recorded on the 10th of April 2016, you would believe me?
Oh,
I'm real, man.
serious.
I am serious.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Shh.
Right.
That whoa.
It's freaky. I
This
know.
is special. This
Yeah.
is special.
Well,
So we going behind the beat now. We're gonna unpack this song Legends to Legacy, and I'm really interested to figure out what you put into this song to make it so special. The elements that you would have put musically, your writing process, how you brought in and how you chose the artists to sing the particular lines, and also the miking techniques, any engineering techniques that Scott would have used to bring out,
that was serious. Yeah.
yeah, those kind of things. So
When I chose the band, I had done a couple of gigs with Chris Clark and Chad, who were next 2 Mile Hill, and bass and drums always. If I can get a team, then that's always great. Xavi Jean Claire played guitar, Rashad, and Darian Bailey
play the keys.
played piano. I wanted a piano player. I didn't want a synthesis because I'm a synthesist, but I really gifted piano player, and Darian is excellent, brilliant, and he was the only person that is allowed on the track to take fills. There were no overdubs as such. Everything was played live by a musician. There's nothing that came off of a file. Nothing came off of a plugin. Everything was absolutely live, and we will play the instrumental from the head, and then we start to break it down.
We are behind the rhythm with John Roett, and this is, I'm looking at this, Don, this is Pro Tools, correct?
Yeah, that's Pro Tools HD, the 2021 edition.
Mm-hmm.
The session was originally recorded actually in the older Pro Tools 8, HD 8.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, over the years, we've been making some updates.
Yeah.
Since then.
Right.
So it's a lot of tracks. I haven't even counted them, but let me scroll through them, and you will see what I mean.
Wow.
A lot of tracks. I think I counted something like 50 or 60, 63 tracks.
63 stereo tracks.
Something like that there.
Yeah.
In all. Actually, what you're seeing here on this window isn't even the original session. This was ready for mix down, so a lot of stuff was bounced down to stereo pairs. I mean, background vocals must have been 30 tracks of background vocals alone.
What?
You know, that were bounced down into stereo pairs. So what's in this session would just be the bounces. You know, like Kids Choir would have been probably 6 or 8 tracks, stereo tracks of that. Church Choir would have been, at least 20 tracks of that. I mean, so you're seeing a condensed version of what the original session was for the mix.
Nice.
Okay, we're going to start with the instrumental version. The only person who played to a click was Chad, which gives it the live feel, because no one can keep in time perfectly to a click for 3 minutes and 31 seconds. So that's what gave it the live feel, and we played to Chad. We were in separate rooms, and we played to Chad. So we'll play the instrumental from the head down to the first verse, into the first verse. Okay. Right, okay, so it was built around Xavi's guitar strum at the head. So we'll let you hear what the strum was at the intro. We'll solo the guitar strum. Okay, so he had a very free feel, and I wanted a nylon strung acoustic. Then we would have gone backwards, and he would have played the lead line that was written for the head. The lead line goes downwards at the end, and it ends on an E, which is the E11. That sets up the first verse. The first line of the song is very crucial.
Right.
So I didn't want to end on the up, so the melody goes down, and then Rupi would have come in. So we played the lead guitar line. Right.
Whoa.
Now, when I did that, I went, okay, well, that sounds a little bit, on its own, it changes the actual feel. I didn't want to put a full horn section into the band for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm sorry, Randy. I'm really sorry.
That's all right.
So I wanted something warm sung in there. So I actually called Ryan Blackman to come in and play flugelhorn along with it. So we'll solo the flugelhorn playing the same line.
Right.
Let's run that.
Big ups to Ryan, big ups to Xavier so far.
I see as Ryan went down the octave, as Xavi went up. So we'll play the two of them with each other now, so you can see how the two of them sounded. Like, it kind of fattened up Xavi's lead. So they split each other apart. One went down the octave and then Zavi went up. So that's how I wrote the arrangement. And then Zavi plays the strum and Darian adds in. Chris was in there, but we'll bring Chris's bass in. So then Darian plays the fills. So we'll go from the actual verse with Darian. You hear where the slight fills are very, very tender and gentle at the head because the lyric was the most important thing. So
Right.
Right. So you see, it's very, very spacious because at the start of the song, the lyric and what it's about is Rupi followed by Allison. So you don't want to get in the way of the vocal whatsoever. So it's very, very spacious. And Chad actually plays very, very little until the kind of like second half of the verse comes. So we'll play what Chad does. He's just marking a hi-hat shuffle there. Nothing yet, just kick and hi-hat, leaving all that room, right? And then he will add a side stick on the 2 and then you snare on the other 2. Side stick, snare,
Nice.
side stick. So it lets your song breathe.
And strangely, you know, when this record was recorded, John will have to tell you this story from the beginning, but essentially the recording room was not yet built. We had no recording room.
Correct.
We had a control room only.
Right.
So we ran a snake out the window, down the steps, and into a big open room on the ground floor of the building.
It's true.
And there was no real proper soundproofing or anything. And you know, all the guys were set up in one big open conference room, and you know, drums in everybody in one space.
Chris
And-
played bass upstairs in the actual
Right,
studio, yeah.
Correct.
Whoa.
And so it wasn't we didn't have a recording room. We used a conference room for this recording. So the drums, we couldn't see any of the musicians because they're on the ground floor and we on the top floor in the control room.
Yeah.
And that was a strange thing about the way this project was recorded.
But I wanted the size of the room. The size of the room is what mattered to me because I wanted the actual space. What we had come down after that, we had actually done live percussion as well. There was nothing, like I said, there's nothing in a plug-in, and James Lovell played percussion, so we can bring
Nice.
James from the
Big ups to
verse
James.
as well.
Guys, you're hearing all of these things, you know, the amount of work and processing that went into this song, you know.
Now I wanted James to insert a Caribbean feel into the song. You can hear where the soca plays on the low conga.
Yeah.
Kung, kung, nothing. Kung, kung would have been there. But it plays in there. 2, 3, soca, right? And then it changes to more of a Latin feel for the kind of a pre-chorus. And then as the chorus comes, you'll hear the kung, 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 the soca feel playing consistently through it when the chorus comes, coming up here shortly. See? Kung,
Oh,
kung,
yeah.
kung, kung. So Chad is playing a ballad and James is adding the actual Caribbean element. You can bring the drums in with that now.
Yeah.
You hear that feel?
Yeah.
So it's a ballad playing, but there's a Caribbean feel on top.
Ballad.
So which people looked at me and thought I was mad, but I went, okay, well I put in Caribbean feel in this somehow. So it kind of worked.
It definitely did work.
Now, if you want to hear James now, you hear that? Spooge in the second verse.
Whoa.
Kick. And then you put the drums back in again. So it got the spooge feel in it now as well.
Yeah.
So that's what made the actual ballad, because a ballad can be very, can be a little bit languid.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah. I know, and the interesting stuff was that we actually recorded the click at, I believe, 162.
You got it. 162.
Right. I've always found that if you record at double time, so the song was actually at 81 BPM.
Right.
If you record at double time, like you get more accuracy, especially when you're playing with a live drummer. If you're playing click, 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 you can lose time much easier than if you're going click, 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 click. So I recorded it at double time. All the instruments are recorded. Everything was played to a double time click, which is a little bit different there as well. So then,
you can hear the click. Listen to.
That's some knowledge you drop there, guys. So if you're listening, you get a little tip there. You can pull from Mr. Roett there.
So you can hear the click is double time compared to what James is playing. And just by the way, James was not playing this on a pad. This is all live congas.
I was gonna ask, right? Because I know James, and I know James got like 12 hands. So I was wondering if y'all individually track those percussive instruments, or did you allow to be free?
We individually track, because I needed that separation for the actual equalization.
Right.
Because different frequencies for the actual congas and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
So then I wanted strings, which I could have easily played on the Kurzweil, which I did play on the Kurzweil. I wrote, and the parts were written out, and I got, I think it was either 6 or 8 violins and a couple of cellos, people that I had known from like the Mosaic concerts and that kind of stuff. And I couldn't just bring them in the chorus. So there is a pre-chorus, like the first pre-chorus when Gabby sings, "I'll be right on the pages of history." You have to I had to introduce the strings before where they played their dominant role.
Right.
So in the pre-chorus, the strings. So we have violins here first. And then they go into the verse. Right. Okay. Right. And then you get, so then we go, I added in Kurzweil strings now, which are real samples. They're like, Kurzweil is not like a cheap, chinksy kind of a string.
We know how you feel about the Kurzweil.
Right, yeah, true. I'm a lover of the Kurzweil. So I played an octave under them and just lightly brushed what they were playing in the upper register. Right, okay. So then I needed the cello for that warmth. So we'll solo the cello here. The cello doesn't follow the line. I didn't want the cello to follow. I wanted the cello to just play very legato, low notes under it, like adding a body, like if he was almost merging with where Chris was. So the cello plays from the pre-chorus. Played 2 different parts, 3 and 5. Right. So the cello parts are written never to get into the way of the lead vocal, because I hate anything to like cross over into lead vocal or wherever.
Right.
So when you play all 3 of them now, you will hear where the cello added to the actual movement of the line.
Nice.
Right. So they were brilliant on that. I didn't want them to play the whole way through the chorus, and the next line that comes is actually the one I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Guarded by angels, heaven on earth, which was it's probably the nicest line of the song. I remember RPB called me with it and went, and they were like, "Bruh."
Yeah.
He said,
I love that. I also love that line as well. I was going to tell you so.
So I needed something after it. So I had the strings stop. And then I wanted, there's a biblical horn. I know everybody looking at me. Yeah, there's a biblical horn called a shofar. And there was also a long trumpet in those days that used to play by lipping. There are no shofars here or long horns. So, but a French horn gives you that kind of a feel.
Right.
So right after Guarded by Angels, I wanted French horns to play that kind of a heralding, like those. So I wrote a very, very simple line, 4 notes, octave, and then 2 notes on 5/6, I think it was.
Who would have played the French horns?
Right, that's Steve Sobers and the Snags.
Snag.
Right. So they played 4 tracks of that, and then they're split. So if you want to hear how it comes in and crosses over, Alan, well, it doesn't cross over him. It just comes in with him, and then it branches off into a harmony as he sings the heaven on earth. So it's guarded by angels, French horns, da-da-da-da, heaven on earth, has the harmonies with it, so that they did not get in his way playing a moving line.
Right.
So we'll hear Alan along with the French horns.
Guarded by angels, heaven on earth.
So it had that kind of a feel.
Nice.
So all these things are in the mix, but they're those kind of things where if you heard it and then you took it out, you wouldn't know what it.
You wouldn't know, yeah.
But you kind of go, well, something missing there. You know what I mean?
You know what? One of the most amazing things for me as a recording engineer was John saying to me when he came with this project. He said, "Scott, everything is going to be live. I'm recording live strings, live drums, live horns, French horns, live choir." I mean, when you listen to the recordings, right? These are not samples. This is live instruments recorded in a room.
Yeah.
Even the French horns, the flugelhorns, all the violins, the cellos. This is as real as it gets. And that was a great experience for me to have the opportunity in Barbados to be able to record, that level of production, all using all live instruments, no samples. Yeah. And I really got to give it to John, because a lot of producers would have said, man, I could get a good sample off the Kurzweil or
I just played them in, could I not take the time to do that?
Yeah, and it gave it, for me, it also gave a lot of exposure to the artists and the musicians who...
There were a lot of young players that we got.
Yeah, party to it.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the chorus now where we needed vocal harmonies. So the whole feel, as you realize, I know that Darian, as a keyboard player, Darian plays a lot of church styles. He's very much into like worship music, if you want to call it gospel music. And I wanted the same thing from the vocalist. No, I'm not saying that I couldn't have pulled 4 or 5 singers that could have sing the same parts. Right. But people who are Christian, they have a different approach to the way that they do things. Yeah. So I believe if my memory serves me, it was Paula Hines, Corrine Clark, Jan Kaiser, Tony Norville, and Makisa Baptiste. And we broke out the parts into, I normally do let the background singers sing the lead line as well, and then break off into 3rd, 5th. I'll either do the 3rd above and the 5th underneath, or alternate the 5th above and the 3rd below. Whichever one is the one below, based on where the lead is, there will be octave above the low part. So you will get low octave, lead, 3rd, and then octave above the low part. So it was 5 of them, and we did 4 tracks of each in different placements in front of the microphones to add different room space. So it would end up being 4 tracks by 5 is 20. Let me multiply here. So if it's 20 on 4 tracks, it'd be 80 voices. That's it. So and then we would pan them. We would pan them at 25 past 7, quarter past 3, 10 past 2, and straight down the middle. Wow. So we would start with the lead, what I call the lead harmony, which is right there. Yeah.
We will all stand together as one. This is our land forever.
Right. So the lead then allowed the people who sang the lead line with them, I believe Edwin was one of them, trying to remember who else sang the lead lines, that they didn't get anyway. They sang straightforward lead as I had written it, and then the singers, all of the singers came in, I gave them their lines as I had written them. Right. And then my way of producing is I always want people to be a part of it, and I would let them sing the line as written 4 times, and then look at them and go, okay, well, you sing it 2 or 3 times however you want. Right. And they were like, what? And they were like, yeah, because I want to know your feeling. Now that you know what I've written, how would you do it? Right. And invariably, it would be a combination of it was really wonderful doing it in that way, because then everybody gave me who they were. Who they were. Yeah, like who Mahalia was. This is how I would do it, based on your melody. This is how I would do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How Dale would do it, blah. Right. And so then I believe I went to the 3rd. Actually, in this one, because the lead was so high, both the 3rd and the 5th were under it. So we'll solo the 3rd.
We will all stand together as one. This is our land forever.
Right, and then I would have added the 5th below it. We'll solo that.
We will all This is our land.
Right. They didn't sing the actual forever part because it would have
Right.
gotten in the way of the lead and it would have made the lead too strong.
Right.
And then I just octave them for the fourth track.
We will all stand.
So bringing the low one with that, 2 octaves,
We will all stand.
right? And then bringing the third and the lead.
We will all stand.
There you go.
Together as one. This is our land forever.
Right. That's 80 voices there.
Bunks
Done.
down, of course.
Bunks
to just
down.
Yeah,
few flats for this session.
Yeah.
Oh,
The thing is that when you were bunksing it, you got to be really, really close because whenever you bunks, that's it. Like if I bunks down 20 tracks of one part and I mix it into the next part, however that is, so you had to be really, really accurate with that. Yeah. Now the interesting part with that also, like I mentioned earlier, the lead line comes back, but rather than ending it down, the second verse was going to pick up energy. So the lead guitar and the French horn, lead guitar and the flugelhorn came back in. The strings end on an E at the end of the chorus,
right.
but we had to fade them very quickly because I believe that the lead line was written that ends on the ninth. It would be on the D. So I had to get the E out the way of the lead line really, really quickly, like a quick fade, so that the lead guitar and the flugelhorn could come in on the D. I think it was like a pa da da da. So and they were on a yeah. Right. I don't. I think my pitch is right, but so it should start on a pa. Right, so it went upwards now rather than the head which goes da 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 to allow
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
for the simplicity of the vocal. Things were going to get, he didn't know James was going to bring in his pooch pattern, etc. So the line had to have more energy going up into it. Right, and that ran down as it was. And then the line where Dale sings, a road has been built for us all to be free. I want it to be a little bit stronger. So I asked Zavi to play a rock guitar, just power fifths for those three notes. I think what I was in A, so it would have been F, a G, and an A. Like down, 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 like leading up. Just simple to add strength there. It would be buried in the mix, but it would still add that body. So let me see where that was.
That's any pre-chorus?
No, yes, the pre-chorus too, yeah. Right, and then that leads into this. So if you want to play the actual instrumental track with that, so you can hear where that comes. At that point. You hear it down in the mix, but right. See what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, and then it goes through the second chorus, and it goes. I wanted the actual goosebump moment that I was instructed by the secretariat who had done it, and the goosebump moment I pictured a church choir actually singing in a church. So I got hold of Julian Bowen, who is in charge of St. Peter's Church, and Scott actually looked at me like I was crazy. We went down there. I think the church choir was 44 people, and we set them up according to where the harmony parts were left to right. So the same way that the song is mixed, where the vocals are panned, that the actual choir was set up accordingly to actually match that.
There's
I
some
know
serious
it's
considerations though, John. I mean, well, you put
no,
a
but you
lot
have
of
to,
thought.
yeah. If you can do it right, you gotta do it
Gotta
right.
do it right,
And
yeah.
Scott had the right mics. I don't remember what mics you had, Scott. There were a bunch of overheads.
Boy, that was a process. We had to lug so much gear down to that church in St. Peter. I never forgot that. And shut every window, every door in the church, so the place was a little bit warm.
Right.
And we actually took another PC that was running Studio One down to the church with an instrumental of the music
Oh yeah, right.
only,
So that they could sing to it.
so they could sing to it. So we had an instrumental of the production thus far, and that was playing back from Studio One, and we were recording into Studio One. And what we did is we had a Bloomline pair of condenser mics, large diaphragm condenser mics right in the front of the stage. Actually, There's a video of it. You can actually see them if you watch the video. You can see them right in the front there, just by James. And then these same 421 mics, we use these over each section of the choir. And the reason for using the dynamic mics was that they were going to pick up less of the bleed of the music, because we had to send full back to them on floor monitors.
We had monitors, right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when you listen to this part that John will play for in a short while,
bleed a little bit.
at the very end, you can actually hear the drums bleeding back into the mics in the solo track of the choir, because they had to monitor on floor monitors, and there was quite a challenge between me being happy with the least amount of bleed coming back into the mics from the floor monitors, and the choir being able to hear the song to play and to sing in time.
Yeah.
So we had to find a compromise, and then of course in the middle of the church, down by the cross section, by the middle doors, we had another Bloomline pair of the same RCA 74 ribbon mics to pick up the whole room of the church. And all of these mics went to separate tracks in Studio One, so we could separately mix the room with the individual sections of the choir, with the overall balance of the choir from the middle of the stage. And then of course James came and did his part live, but that was of course recorded in the studio beforehand. Yeah. So he lip synced it for the purpose of the video, but again he had to be able to hear it. Nobody was wearing in-ears. So when you see the video, or you watch that part in the video, that is when it was actually recorded. It was like rolled cameras and rolled Studio One and everything together. So you're actually seeing the real recording in the Barbados 50th video of this production being recorded in the church, with the exception, of course, of James singing his part.
His lead part.
So we play the actual choir in the. Actually, what we do before that, there was I needed to set the goosebumps up. So there's I did a phrase, da 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 da, and it builds up. And the beauty about live is that you can actually hear it going, da, 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 it comes up like Jaws, and then it stops dead. And you might not hear it in the actual solo, but the engineer in Canada let this long reverb just hold the empty space, and then the choir picks up on its own with nothing. We will. So those two words, "we will," is just the choir by itself, and then the band slams in on the change key. So I will let you hear what the actual phrase was at that point with the whole instrumental playing. Right. So it was that. I let it play on. Right. So then the choir came right after, and this is the song of the choir in the actual church with 44 singers on, I don't remember how many passes we did. Sub down.
We will all stand together as one. This is our land forever.
Right. And the interesting thing about that is the way that Julian directed the choir. They sang it differently than it was written. So it has more of a like a swing forever where it goes. It's not precisely with the singers that sang in the studio, but that was the beauty of it, because you can hear where there's this slight variation in the actual rhythmic phrase of it, and I just loved it. It was, I didn't want to go, okay, well, you're all singing it wrong. I went, no, let it be. That was
that adds character to the song as well.
Yeah, right, correct. You know what I mean? So they had that, and that was the same thing with Chad playing live. I mean, it's not absolutely perfect. If you play the click through the song, you can hear it drifting. He always catches back, but we're playing to him. So if you don't have a click, then you don't ever hear it, and that's the beauty of playing live, as you would know when we played with Jagna and that kind of stuff. We didn't have any click that we were playing to. You're playing live as a human element.
Yeah.
So after that goes the whole way down. Then the kind of secondary goosebump was to bring in kids, and I called Varia Williams, and she brought over 10 mustard seed kids, and they just sang the very last line, which is "Our Home, Barbados," and they were just going like very innocent on a few tracks.
That's always included youth, man.
That's always in there, right? And I didn't want it sung. You can hear the Bajan accents. We are Bajan. I don't want it. Our home, Barbados. No, you know, children are children. I grew up with. Hear it again. You hear it. I actually brought that little girl's volume up a little bit more than anybody else's. Bardy, and it's sweet. You understand? Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up front, man. Don't get. We are who we are.
We are who we are. It's true.
We tend to be too ashamed of who we are. We can't do that.
Exactly.
So
Agreed. Totally agree, John.
the actual glue of it was like telling Chris Clark that Chris bass is the whole foundation of it, yeah. And Chris understood exactly that it was a situation. You have any bass of Chris, just Chris's bass in the verse, in any verse, very, very, very spacious, and he understood the breathing, the way that I didn't want it to be overplayed.
Right.
You know? Where he comes in on the second part of the verse. You have him there? That's him there? Okay, he's coming there. Very spacious there and there. See, very short note value. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Nice.
See.
Whoa.
So those little things, and I mean, many people could have gotten it done. Yeah, but being that Chris and Chad play with each other for so long.
Because drums and bass, they have to lock in. They have to understand
drums and bass got to lock in. Well, that was the whole production. There for you.
Whoa.
So
can you play like a snippet with the vocals included?
Snippet of the vocals, sure. Yeah, we could actually go from the build up chorus into the choir,
right?
Into the church choir, if you like, because then I added the studio choir along with them, so it'd be their 44 voices and then the 80.
Right.
Barbados. We will all stand together as one. This is our land forever. Guarded by angels, heaven on earth. This is our home, Barbados.
Well, I can tell you, John, the goosebump effect work, because I as many times I've heard this song, I still get the same effect when you get to that particular part there. So the goosebump effect,
that
the
was the only way
intention.
I could do it. I'd actually launched it in England the same night that it was launched here, and people at the event in London, there were English people that didn't know where, and there were people in the room were crying, and I was freaking out. I mean, I had a glass of wine or two, but I was like, all crying, bro.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it is an amazing song. I want to say that publicly and commend you, Sir John Roett, because I think you should be knighted for the amount of work that you've done. And I'm speaking that into being, you know what I mean? Honestly, this is a tremendous work of art here. The creation, the thought process that you would have went through, the considerations that both you and Scott took, and Elysius as an engineer, to ensure that the audio quality was preserved, and how you put the thematic concept together for the entire song, lyrics and all the time.
So that was everything there, man. That was it.
Wow.
5 weeks of recording, and then a month of writing and arranging and producing. My ideas going mad and crazy. What I will tell Randy, strangely enough, and I have this in my book as well. We were in the studio from like early, maybe midday after some of the guys had finished playing at church. And the record button went on at 7:30 at night, and we did a couple of rough passes, ironed out mistakes, like where we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, where the fills were, etc. Blah blah blah. And we did 8 takes. This is absolute truth. And take 8 had in a couple. You can make a couple of fluffs that you can go back and fix, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I took my headphones off, and as I was taking them off, a voice inside of me said, "Do one more take." And I looked at Darian and Zavi and Chad, and I went, "Y'all guys would do me a favor? You think we could do one more take?" And the man was like, "Oh yeah, okay, sure." Everybody was real tired. What you hear here is from start to finish the only song that I've ever played in a studio in my life, and there have been many, that is from start to finish, exactly what was played. There ain't no punching, there ain't no overdub, fix up, nothing. This is start to finish, straight down, perfect, absolutely perfect. It was mind-boggling because I thought about it and I told you guys after. I went, you realize that we're not doing any overdubs because this is it was good, but
Yeah.
never in my life. That's
There
the
was
honest
something
truth.
about that. Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
never. Take 9, straight down.
Yeah, John. Thank you for the insight on that. Unpacking the beat segment, man. Jeez, on. So we're gonna move to another segment here. No, I know that you're gonna love this part.
What's that? What's
You're
that?
gonna love this part. I want to challenge you to build a beat in 5 minutes. All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a
5?
break. Yeah, only 5 minutes.
Only?
Only
But
5. Or that's
I-
too much time.
So that's too much time.
That's what.
5 minutes to build
So
it, eh?
all right. So the
I got
challenge.
listen.
The challenge on.
I
guys.
would bet you 5 of my fiance rock kids.
All right. The challenge on. It's
Challenge on? All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
challenge on. So what we're gonna do?
When you come back.
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna let you set it up. And we're gonna do on the spot. We're gonna do a segment called on the spot. So stand by, guys. We'll be back. Hey guys, welcome back to this segment called On the Spot. You are watching Behind the Rhythm, and we are going to challenge John Roett to build a beat, build a rhythm, something in 5 minutes. Master Roett, are you ready?
Ready. 5 rock kicks on bet.
5 rock kicks on bat. So I give you the countdown. Get ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Give me a click at 100. Okay, I going with the kick first time. All right. Cool. You just want that. And then line me up. Put in a snare. Snare. I ready. Snare. Roll. That should be there. Come back a pass. Add in another snare on the straight beat. Yeah, good on.
Got 4 minutes on the clock, John.
Okay. Keep taking time with the count. Okay. Let me left off for no. No, give me a side stick. Go along. Yeah, okay. That should do for now. A bass. Like, a bass, you gotta find. You got bass?
Pressure on.
Okay, back again. Okay, Ron, this said E flat and this ain't working. I can play E. Go along. Roll.
3 minutes on the clock.
Okay, I can mind you with that. Okay, hold on. You lost me on the count. Go along. I need to hear the 8. 2, 3, 4, 5. I come in here now then. Okay, we hear all that, right? Give me a. That should be alright. I ain't making mistakes. Once we got it.
What do you want now?
Organ or something so like.
Try your organ. Here we go.
I got.
2 minutes and 20 on the clock.
Okay, man, with that. Go on, hurry up. Yeah.
Pressure on.
Hey, yeah,
Nice.
Okay. Again, I play first at the end. Go on.
One more time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
cool. Give me kind of a marimba thing. A marimba, quick. Yeah. Yeah, man. Go on with that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, go on again. I can't remember what I played. Go on again. Hey, roll. Yeah. Don't mind that. 2, 3, 4, and a 5, 6. We're going E minor.
Nice.
Okay. Now good. Give me kind of
About 1 minute on the clock.
Okay, don't mind that. A guitar like a ting, something so. Yeah, man.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Again. Yeah. Again, quick. Just a little knock there, nice. Little knock. Don't.
30 seconds.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What happened?
15 seconds left.
Yeah, well, I don't want 15
You,
seconds.
you,
Yeah.
you don't want to count
I
down.
want 15 seconds. Just, my rock
Hey,
kicks.
well,
Yeah, but can't get down.
So 5, 4,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2.
1. That's your time, John.
All right.
But you done before, so like, all
I
your
mean,
rock kicks.
I am an play. Let me hear the whole thing now. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll loop that there. Play it there like a show the melody, man.
Right there.
Go on with it.
Play. Let me hear a good.
All right, see, yeah. Huh? Let me drop on a vocal on it too. Yeah, kill it with the African thing. Let me drop it there, B. You know what I mean? There.
I love it. I love it, John. Thank you so much. Guys,
I had
that
a
was-
ball, Randy, man.
yeah.
Thanks so much, buddy. I'm really proud of you. I just want you to know that from my heart, man.
Well,
This is what you're doing for younger artists and producers coming through is worth $1 million, man. Really. Anything I could do to help you, bud. Just
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that, man.
link me up whenever you need, man.
Guys,
Scotty,
that-
thanks for coming on board too, bro.
yeah, we got to thank both
I know
Scott and John for this.
Oh, no microphones and all that kind of thing.
Thanks for inviting
Oh,
me, John,
yeah, man.
also to participate. It's always great working with you, especially when you put me under pressure, like the last part of the session.
Oh, everybody under pressure just now.
You got to see a little bit of what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
right?
correct. It's like, come on.
No, yeah.
Being patient.
Normally it's be like, no, the verse, what happened? You don't know verse, man.
You left out words. You left out words.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple words
I
that
didn't go there, but you left out
yeah,
words.
a couple words will be inserted in there. You know?
It's either there or it's be real slow. Scott, it is supposed to be the verse.
We call that muscular language.
Man, Randy, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
I had a ball.
Thank you,
Right.
guys. That was the segment on the spot, man, and you know a lot of takeaways today. The approach that John took and Scott and Elysius and the entire team to this song, Legends to Legacy. I really want you to understand what happened here and how he created this moment. And we really need to appreciate this process, the back end process that goes into creating the song, producing, even the writing. He even gave us some writing tips. We were supposed to talk about production, but we actually got some writing and production value included as well. So thank you so much, John. I also want to ask you one thing. If you had to give one piece of advice to the youngsters coming into the game who want to get into production and music creation, what advice would you give to them?
Follow your heart. Whatever you hear, even if people tell you that what you're doing is not theoretically right, once you feel the vibe from your heart, follow your heart. Do whatever you feel, because being unique and being who you are is the most important thing. There will never be two Lionel Richies or two Lil Ricks or two Edwin Yearwoods. Be who you are. And the way that you do things the way you are, and you will learn gradually what works and what doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been another episode of Behind the Rhythm. Thank you so much for joining us again. If you want to stay notified about the episodes coming in this series, just hit the subscribe button below, man, and hit the notification tab as well, so you can understand what's happening and stay up to date with what we are doing. Thank you so much to John Roett. Thank you so much to Scott Weatherhead, and I also have to say thank you to Shamar Coombs, who's my technical coordinator for this series. Thank you so much, Shamar, for your insight and your input. Guys, this has been Behind the Rhythm, and we are out.